Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? Got a brand new deck guide for you today. We're going to be an Agent Venom, Human Torch First Steps, small ball list that I've been having a lot of fun with. You can actually see on screen what the win rate was yesterday, but let's go ahead and jump right into why we have each card in this list individually. So starting off, first and foremost, this is an Agent Venom, kind of, it's a Bast kind of list. You're getting your cards to 3 power, so then you can really optimize the stuff later on. So the main cards, of course, you're trying to hit with either an Agent Venom or a Bast, of course. First Steps, Human Torch, going to 3 power to start initially. Gives you some extra kind of turns to be able to get better power on this card in general. Also, Sage starting off at 3 power is always really good. Same with Cassandra Nova. Cassandra Nova, especially because if your opponent continues to draw cards, it kind of helps to have 3 power on Cassandra Nova going later into the game, since her power does decrease as the game does progress. So, it kind of offsets where you really would get initially great value on the card if you do draw her late. But with Agent Venom and with Bast, it kind of gives you options to be able to play her a little bit later and still get some sort of value out of the card itself. The key card that honestly has saved me a lot, you'll see in the gameplay, is actually going to be Cosmo. Cosmo offsetting my opponent's combos, be able to protect my bigger cards from their own tech pieces as well. Cosmo has been very solid and has actually really helped me a lot. And in a lot of these games, to just get a lot of value and just it's like one of your only really key tech pieces that kind of protect your cards. So really enjoy Cosmo in this list. Of course, you are running Thena. You're not really often more than not playing more than 2 cards a turn. Sometimes you play more than 2 cards to offset what your opponent thinks is going to happen in that Thena lane. Or if you're adding more power into that Thena lane, you play a card that has more than 3 power. So then it doesn't actually mind you not doing just 2 cards to get the +3 on Athena. Then, of course, you do have Havoc. Havoc giving you the extra power to scale. You're playing this kind of later into the game because you do have the enablers with Mr. Fantastic First Steps and Surge to kind of enable you to be able to energy cheat in the sense, since you're only going to have 5 energy on turn 6 if you play Havoc on 5. This allows you to be able to kind of play 2 cards no matter what. Of course, it depends on what Surge hits, and also depends on what Mr. Fantastic hits, but you have that as kind of a surprise factor, or just allow you to be able to get a couple different outs, so you're not just stuck playing just low-end cards and just praying that Havoc carries the game. You, of course, also do have the Hood in this list. Of course, it generates the Demon. You're not really often playing this out on curve unless you're playing this into a lane you're going to lose, so you get the Demon. So that's kind of like my thought process behind playing the Hood. And then, of course, we have Kitty Pryde is another, just so you can have like 2 cards to play to be able to get Thena value. This also is going to be the deck on screen for you guys. It is Spice Ball because Human Torch, hot, and it's small ball. Spice Ball. The deck code will be down in the description below. But let's break down even more thoroughly kind of some of these play lines for some of these cards. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into each card, why they are specifically in this list, and substitutions for them as well. All right, first and foremost, we do have the Hood. The Hood we're using in this list, preferably after it's getting hit by a Bast or it's getting hit by an Agent Venom, so that there's not a downside for playing the Hood out. That, of course, would make it a net positive of +6, losing the -3, going to +3 power, and then you also generate the Demon itself, which essentially is like the top end you can get for this card. You can play the Hood out by itself. I would play it maybe into a lane you think you're going to lose, so that you don't really have the downside of having to fight for that lane. Or you can play it to other lanes, or you can even use this as your opponent thinks you're just going to lose this lane because you have the Hood down there, and then you play some of your bigger power scalers a little bit later in the game, probably like a Sage to be able to kind of get the value of also having that -3, turning it into a positive of just a -1 instead, since Sage would get the +2 power because it's a different, powered card in that lane. That's like the main usage. Is you want this card to be hit by Bast, or you want this card to be hit by Agent Venom. So more often than not, I'm either playing Agent Venom and hopefully drawing this, or I'm waiting to have more cards in my hand to get better value from Bast. I'm not playing Bast on turn 1 unless I don't have Agent Venom in my hand or I have just great targets to be able to get vast value. I just don't want to hit Agent Venom with this because taking away that 2 power from Agent Venom can kind of be a rough situation for us, just because also looking at Sage value later on in the game, and since we are a small kind of mid-range deck, taking away 2 power could be more impactful than not. So I'm mainly just using Bast after I've played an Agent Venom, just because if Bast, of course, is in hand and Agent Venom happens, the cards that you, of course, started the game with aren't going to have that extra 3 power, so then you're playing this to hit those cards in general. Next, of course, we do have Kitty Pryde. This is another card that can be a really solid hit on Bast, really solid hit on Agent Venom, or you're just playing this out on turn 1. So, like, you play this on turn 1 to get a little bit of the buff itself onto this card to start, and then you're more often not going to be playing your Agent Venom on turn 2. But this is also just to give you a lot of Athena value because, Athena, you have to play 2 cards. So if you have Kitty Pryde, it is a cheap 1-cost card that can give you value on your Athena. Also, if this gets hit by a Surge, it's a 0-cost, can get hit by also a Mr. Fantastic First Step, Pedro, Fanta, whichever you want to call it, which also could decrease its cost to 0. Also, Fanta hitting this could give it +2 power, so you can kind of scale pretty well with Kitty Pryde. Next, of course, you have Havoc. Havoc you are using in this list as another scaler. If you don't have Havoc, I would maybe run something more like an Angela, since Angela can also get pretty big, just depending on, the other cards you have to be able to generate power onto her itself. But this is a great hit on Bast, a great hit on Agent Venom. If this does get hit by either of those 2 cards, it starts off at a 2-3, not a 2-0. And then after the next turn, it goes to 7 power. And after the next turn, it goes to 11 power. I think this list itself is probably something I'm going to be messing with Invisible Woman First Steps as well. I think that's going to be pretty good just with a lot of these, cards or like end of turn cards. But, you're using this kind of on turn 5. And since you're running, Mr. Fantastic, First Steps, Fanta, Pedro, and you're running Surge, it really gives you the options to be able to play this in another 3-drop. Whether that is a tech piece like a Cosmo or even like a not Mr. Fantastic, a Human Torch or even like a Sage. You have a bunch of different options there to be able to continue to get value, even though you are losing energy with Havoc. And then, of course, you do have Athena. Athena gets the value from playing, 2 cards every single turn, and you get +3. I think this is going to work well, of course, especially with Invisible Woman. First Steps Invisible Woman is going to kind of help this because it is an end-of-turn card. This is a great card to, get started with. Something like, a Bast or even like an Agent Venom, that gives you just some initial good, start there. There's a lot of instances where you don't want to give this a 10 power just yet because, Shang-Chi is running amok. So sometimes I will play 3 cards out on turn 5, just in case my Athena is close to getting to that, over 10 power range, just so it can't get Shang-Chi'd on turn 6, and then on turn 6, I am pumping up my Athena to over 10 power. So just keep in mind, there are tech cards running around right now, whether that is Shadow King, whether that is Shang-Chi. We do have Cosmo to protect against those, but you're not going to have Cosmo every single game. Of course, then you do have Mr. Fantastic First Steps, which enables you to be able to get extra power onto your cards. You have that surprise factor. You can also decrease the cost of cards, which also is really beneficial since we are playing a Havoc list. Having decreased cost on cards allows you to be able to either play Havoc early or just get value from betting better cards to be able to play down on turn 6. There's been instances, where I've gotten a Demon to be 0. I've gotten Kitty to be 0. I've gotten even, Havoc to be 1, Sage to be 2, Sage getting extra power on itself. Like, this is just another just really great enabler that helps you with this list. Of course, Surge is another card kind of like Mr. Fantastic. Of course, this goes based on the cards in your deck, not on a card in your hand, so you don't necessarily know what card is going to be hit until you draw that card on the next turn. But Surge honestly really enables you to continue to do that Havoc line that we were talking about as well. If you don't have a Mr. Fantastic or you don't have a Surge, it's kind of going to be a little bit more tough for you. I know originally there was an Adam Warlock you were running potentially in the Mr. Fantastic slot just to be able to get extra draws. I don't know if that's actually probably what the smartest thing to do. You might want to run a Shadow King instead so you have a tech card there. Or if you want to add another 3-drop, you could add Juggernaut. Add Juggernaut to have another just tech card to be able to protect you if you don't have either of these cards. If you don't have both of them, I think you might want to try and play something a little bit different. But you could play an Angela. You don't necessarily have anything to be able to cheat out energy the way you really want to. You could play a Hope Summers to get maybe some extra energy value that way, but you aren't really going to get the discounts you really want. Of course, you have Agent Venom in here, setting all the power of the cards in your deck to 3. A lot of these cards you have in your deck, besides Agent Venom is the highest powered card in your entire deck. So setting the card's power to 3 is just a huge buff to pretty much every other card in this list. The only card that doesn't get a buff really from it is going to be Cosmo, because it already starts off at 3 power. So that's kind of the only downside there. But, even at the same time, since you're not losing anything on Cosmo, that's still a pretty good hit. Also, you could have this as a potential snap condition if you have, Agent Venom and a bunch of your good, hits down in your deck. Of the 3 cards, this is a huge point here. So, depending on what you have in your hand, that really determines on what you're going to do when it comes to either a Mr. Fantastic or with a Surge. But I am always, and I mean always on turn 2. If I have Agent Venom in my hand, I am playing Agent Venom on turn 2 over Surge or over Mr. Fantastic. These are 2 other enablers to help you later in the game, but if you have Agent Venom first, you are playing Agent Venom first. After that, you need to look at what's in your deck and what is in your hand to see if you want to do Surge or if you want to do Mr. Fantastic. I'm probably leaning more towards a Mr. Fantastic and then a Surge, just because you know what you're guaranteed to hit, and not every single card in this small ball package is something you want to play out on curve. So being able to have Mr. Fantastic, to have you have options to be able to really, kind of think about your thought process about your play later, is going to be the better option in my opinion. Next, of course, we do have Cassandra Nova. Cassandra Nova, like I said, is a great target when it gets hit by a Bast or an Agent Venom, because then you can play Cassandra Nova later in the game and still get some decent value. Because you're playing Cassandra Nova normally on like a turn 3 in other decks, to get her to that 6 power. Of course, if you're playing her later in the game, as the game progresses, you get extra draws. So if you play her on turn 4, she'd only be at 5. If you play her on turn, 5, she'd only be 4 power. But since you have Agent Venom and since you have Bast, you can kind of keep her around that 6 power range more often than not throughout the entire course of the game, or even bigger depending on when you play her out. But having her as one of those targets for those 2 cards is really, really great, even though you may not be negating, the power or inflicting that negative power to enemies' cards, since, they're going to be drawing them later in the game. She still can be solid there. This also is a potential flex spot. I'm wondering if when Invisible Woman First Steps come out, if you actually put her in instead of Cassandra Nova, which is something I will be testing this next week, which I think honestly could help because of a lot of these end-of-turn cards getting the value itself, kind of using that as another just kind of Agent Venom kind of style mediator, which is also why that'll be a card that'll be weird into this list too, because that is another card that has a downside of getting hit by Agent Venom. So it's kind of like thinking, well, what do I play this lane on? But of course, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But next, of course, we're going to have Sage. Sage, of course, gets power for each card in that lane that has different power. And you have a bunch of cards that kind of can have different power. Of course, Bast and Agent Venom set them to 3, but more often than not, these cards aren't really staying at 3 unless it's some of your enablers like the Fanta, Surge, Bast, Cosmo. Those are the only cards really staying at 3, but of course, you're not really playing Surge or Sage into a Cosmo lane. Unless you're trying to protect, that Sage itself. So I'm just keeping that in my perspectively. Sage could be a Wolfsbane potentially instead. It's not going to get the same exact value, but at least with Wolfsbane going to 3 power, getting the extra power itself too from the other cards in that lane, that could potentially turn to a 3/9, which is still pretty good stats. I mean, we're talking about 3/9 and Cassandra Nova. Neither of these are like you have to have in this list kind of thing, but they are great pieces to be able to get value. Like I said, you could do a Juggernaut maybe instead, but I would probably try and run either one of these, probably leaning a little bit more towards Sage. You could maybe run an Iron Man instead. Iron Man I've seen in different versions of this list too, or even like an Esme to be able to get the value of getting copies of some of these cards to have different, combo pieces there. And then, of course, we do have Human Torch First Steps. This card gets +1 power at the end of turn, and it doubles once per game. I'm using this, honestly, as either another just great scaler to be able to double at the end of the game, or even as just something to psych my opponent out. You'll actually see against a move player, I actually had Torch on a lane, and they fully committed that lane because they thought I was just going to buff Torch, and they were really reliant on me buffing Torch in order to win that lane, but I use that as just an opportunity to play on the other 2 lanes, because you don't have to win all 3 lanes. So using that as just another disadvantage of, oh, are they going to fill this lane? Oh, they have to fill this lane. They have Torch down. And like a lot of people are like, they're going to fill this lane no matter what, so we got to do something about Torch. But you don't have to. And that's another thing. Like, if you don't have Torch, you could do like another Tech 3-drop, or you could do, like I was saying, Juggernaut. Juggernaut is a Tech 3-drop. I think that slots in just perfectly in this list. And then you have Cosmo. Like I said, Cosmo to protect your stuff, to mitigate what your opponent's trying to do. This card just feels really solid right now and can stop a bunch of different combos. Best dog Cosmo in the house. But we're going to jump into some gameplay from stream, which if you guys do enjoy the gameplay, definitely feel free to catch me live on Twitch. I will be streaming Grand Arena later tonight, as well as while its life cycle is out, and I will be streaming more Snap as it continues to progress, and I'm still really liking Snap right now. Even though the meta is a little interesting, I still really am enjoying the game. But yeah, I will see you guys at the end of the video. I'm not going to say what we're all thinking. I'm not going to say what we are all thinking, okay? Yeah, tomorrow's going to be awesome. I am very excited for tomorrow as well. Very excited. All right, let's see. Can we get something cool? Yeah, Athena goes crazy. If you get, I mean, it's like you still have to play for certain like lions here though. But I love this stylus. Goose? I don't want to play Goose. True, it's true, but I don't want to play Goose. I don't want to play the Goose. But let me see. This is hot location, right? Oh my gosh. Wait, this is kind of gross. Wait, this is kind of gross. Kid Omega. Oh boy, what are we playing, Duke? Duke, what are we playing? What are we playing? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. T.O.! How we doing, T.O.? It is so good to see you, my friend. I am doing great. How are you doing, brother? Yeah, it is Nimrod Shuri things from the looks of it. That is what I'm seeing as well. So the question is... I think it's actually this. Yeah, I think it is Havoc left. I agree. I agree. They do get the Nimrod. Does KO go off too? KO does not go off. Okay. Oh, it's gonna be Zola. Can I get Cosmo, please? For the one time? No. No Cosmo. No Cosmo. We fill. This goes up. Zola, 26, 26, 26, right? It'd be 27. This is 19 plus 4 is 24. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 11 plus 5 is 16. That would win that breaker. Venom Astral. True, that also is a thing. I think it's this. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this is 11 plus 5, 16. 29, we win by 1 middle. I think it's that. Even this is pretty rare. Wait, what are you... Callie, how are you doing, bro? Welcome in. It's so good to see you, man. How are you doing, Callie? Hopefully you've had a great day. I think, like, this is what? Just Zola things? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Carnage. Venom. Oh, I forgot about the middle location, too. Oh. Okay. I think they win. They win with Venom right. If they Venom right into Carnage, I think we lose. I'm excited for tomorrow, though. I won't lie. I'm very excited just to do testing for things Zola. Oh my gosh. Is that... I think someone was talking about, like, Symbiote Spider-Man Zola things, right? Someone was talking about that. Symbiote Spider-Man Zola. I think Splat. Yeah, Symbiote Spider-Man Zola with the thing. Can I get a 2-drop? Can I get a 2-drop here? A 2-drop would be nice. That's not a 2-drop. Do we just give left? Give left, let Torch do his thing? I think we do. Coulson. Is this a Shields Wiccan deck? Shields, oh, Wiccan? Yo, what's going on, City? How you doing, bro? Welcome in. Welcome in. Ooh, Cassandra Nova's pretty nice here. The Big Suck. The Big Suck. All right, we go Cass into Cosmo. Ooh, or not. Or not. They do have a full hand. I think they get something crazy. Okay, we go Agent Venom, Hood, Kitty, and this will be good. Okay. Wiccan. Oh boy. Agent Venom, double Hood. Okay, so I do have a play here. I do have a play here. Trust. This is going to be Demon, Kitty, Sage. This seems really strong. This does seem really strong. Onslaught, Mr. What in the hell? I mean, it did seem very strong. It did. It did seem very strong when I first looked at it, all right? At first glance, it looked really good. What? Yeah, it's gonna be Moonstone. It's gonna be Moonstone, which means I do this. That. So it's gonna be another Mr. Fantastic, another Mr. Fantastic. So we're gonna get +6 here. They have 10 energy. They have 6 cards. Oh, let's have some fun. Surely it's no Shang-Chi, right? Oh, God. Speed. Vision. Grapple. Oh. Okay. They did not draw the Moonstone. I cannot say the vision was in my... But it was a Coulson vision. Coulson vision. This is ultimate Mr. Fantastic, right? I mean, that works. But we'll see. We shall see. Also, we went to 7 Brew tonight. I don't know if you guys have a 7 Brew near you guys. And I got a key lime pie, chilled energy, like kind of like slush. And this thing do be hitting. I love key lime pie. I don't know about you guys, but key lime pie is so good. We do start with Agent Venom in hand. You know how it be. You know we love it. What we got? Angela. Do I get a Kitty Pryde off the top? Surge off the top's not bad. Let's do Torch though. Let's get Torch juiced a little bit. Yeah, Angela, if you can get the Kitty. Angela goes crazy. What we get? Hood? Ooh. I won't mind a Hood, my friend. I will actually say thank you for that. But let's do this. Hood is nice. Hood is very nice, actually. They must be playing some sort of small ball thing too, right? They gotta be playing something similar. Okay. Bast is nice. Yeah, with Strange Supreme too, if you're playing the token stuff, yeah. I totally agree. I'm gonna go... Bast. Hood. And then we're gonna have some options here. They Red Guardian, which hits Surge, which is not worst case scenario for us, into Kitty. I'm gonna go Bast. That's actually like probably like the best 50-50 we could have had. Like genuinely, that's like the best we could have kind of cooked there for. I'm gonna go Surge. Havoc Demon. I'm adding 13 power, right? Havoc, Kitty, Ironheart. And we played that the right way. Cool. Let's go. Let's go. Even if I had to hit like Athena instead of Surge, I think we're in a good spot. I don't know. Anyways. Anyways, we had things going on. Yeah, no. Torch in this deck gives us a lot of just different outs. Are we going to fill the lane? Are we not going to fill the lane? We do get turn 1 Agent Venom. Oh, that's actually awesome. That is pretty freaking sweet. They're snapping. I'm going to go Athena. We have Cosmo and Sage in hand. They're going to dagger. I'm going to Cosmo left. Just Cosmo left. Gets +2. Aha! No Frigga. No Frigga. No, no. I mean, they can now bounce it into, like, other stuff here. So, like, I'm okay waiting this out a little bit. I am okay waiting this out. Yo, what's going on, KO? How you doing, beautiful? Welcome in, my friends. Our Athena's kind of just sitting there, which is unfortunate. Now they're gonna beast it. They Aranya beast. Okay. I go torch. I'm gonna do... Yeah, no, Doctor Strange is gonna be pretty rough for us. Pretty rough. But they're gonna have to play around some stuff too, is my thought process here. And I should be able to play out pretty much all of these cards here. No, I think this is it. You're 1K from Lord Phoenix? Yo, let's freaking go, KO. That is awesome, man. You're killing it, bro. You are killing it. They Frigga. Okay. So they have a 6-power torch. They have a dagger. They have a dagger. Do I keep Prio? That was probably the worst pull we could have gotten. Probably the worst pull we could have gotten. But can we make it work? This is 1, 2, 3. If dagger moves over, it's better. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Oh, we don't have Prio. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. The Ghost Spider. Okay. Into Strange. Cool. That works. That will work for me. B-Dog, this is a prime example. Prime example, B-Dog, of baiting the middle. Prime example of setting up the middle so they think we're going to be hard committing onto Torch. Yeah, we had to have Cosmo left in that situation. That's the only way we win that game. So that is a bit unfortunate. A bit unfortunato. We do get Agent Venom, though. We do also have Surge with the Sage. What can we do? Thena. I think we actually just snap. I got you. I got you. We have our Christmas Thena. Christmas Thena. They have Agent Venom. And they have Bast. Oh, we might be in a bad spot, my friends. Snapping onto X Mansion, too. Oh! Actually, though? Is there a world? Actually, no. I think it's just cast right. Cast right and I demon left because I'm kind of just giving the Athena lane. Yeah, cast rice. Cast right, demon left because I'm giving that Athena lane. They can have Athena. They bishop into Sable. So I'm going to try and force them to monkey right is our thought process here. So I go Havoc, Sage, Havoc, Sage, they Cosmo, Havoc. Okay. And then I go... If I go Cosmo, Demon. This is good against the monkey. We had another 6. I think it's this every time. Yep, I think we should be good. Electra? Sage, cool. Cool. Let's go. It was close. Very, very close. Oh, boy. Monster Island. We do get Cass. We get Kate. Acid Arrow would be a little tough here. Would be a little tough. I'm gonna go... I think I'm gonna go Bast Surge here. Mobius, okay. That's fine. That is fine. I go Athena, Kitty. Hood got gold crackle with blue rays. Oh, that is so bad, Takashi. I am so sorry. Do they have Wiccan here? They do have the Wiccan. Okay. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Here is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go Cosmo. Kitty here. Cosmo. Kitty. Negasonic. Mr. Fantastic. Basic. Pim. Okay. Oh, so we don't have to deal with Mobius anymore? Okay. So I am adding, let me see. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's this. I think it's that. Not the Magneto. Into Iron Fist. Torch right. Torch wouldn't go off, though, because Lady of Saints merges everything into a symbiote. Okay. That will work. Oh, we do lose to Magneto, right? I think exactly what we wow. Now that was rough. Sure, we'll turn one Bast here. Turn one Bast into Surge. Or into Agent Venom. Wow, that's pretty strong. That is pretty strong. I'll take that too. Wow. This is kind of crazy. This is kind of crazy. Oh, yeah. They floated. They floated. You almost got Lord Hockey. Yo, you got this tomorrow, B-Dog. For sure. For sure. Invisible Woman. So that's Shadow King. So Shadow King's coming down on the right. We know Shadow King's coming on the right. which means I also am going to double torch right now, which I know might sound crazy. It definitely sounds crazy, but it's the move. We're doubling torch right now. Where is my Cosmo? Cool. Cosmo. And play this here. Mysterio, Monkey, Enchantress, into Shadow King. Cool. That will work, my friends. That will work. Sweet! And I think if people start playing some Namor again, I think that'll help. Okay, we Bass turn 1 here because we do have Hood in hand. Yeah, no, exactly, Takashi, which I love. I love that we ended up with priority. Well, actually, without priority, we also go in a crazy spot there. We're gonna go AV, probably an Athena. Or is it actually? Hold up. I want to go AV right. Let's do that. Oh my gosh, what is this game? Cosmo, Mr. Fantastic. We do get the Cosmo. We do get the Cosmo. Yeah, the bundle value is not great. I agree. It is definitely not great. But it's still fun. All right, I'm going to go Torch. This is going to be very, very interesting. They symbiote. And then okay. So I'm going to surge left. Yeah, no, I think it is surge left. It's just raw surge left here. Yeah, they 100% are playing Nimrod. Like, I know they're playing Nimrod. The question is, where are they playing Nimrod? With Cosmo in hand? I am going to snap this. I am... yeah, they're going to definitely do that. And we should just be in a good spot here. I like what we have set up. Especially the double cast is really nice. Okay, they activate Sim into Nimrod. Okay. So it is... this, that, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Cool. That will work. Yeah, we do get Bass turn 1. We have Agent Venom. We have Mr. Fantastic. We have Havoc. Pretty good start. But we still, like, never play Bast before Agent Venom. Like, we always... Because we don't want to take away the power on Agent Venom itself. That is still my general thought process with this. Okay. What do we got? Quinjet. So, this is going to be probably Victoria hand things. They do have Mirage. Okay. I'm going to go... That lane's going to be all demons, so I think we're just going to Agent Venom here. Mirage does get my Bast. I'm going to go Agent Venom. We have Cancun. Okay, so now we kind of have to play that way, huh? Kind of has to play there. Okay. They hood into Kate. Now I would love a Cosmo. Cosmo would be pretty good. Yo, what's going on, Hunter? We're doing good, man. How are you doing? How are you doing? I just Cosmo middle. Cosmo, nothing gonna happen there. And now I go... Human Torch. Havoc. And we should be in a pretty interesting spot here. They can't do Misery here. We only have to play for 2 lanes. I'm actually going to do this. I think that's actually kind of safer. Yeah. Destroy the Kid Omega since he got put in the packs. He's not bad. Yeah, the Deadpool effect is cool, kind of, because it's like the Dracula kind of thing. Misery, basic. Cool. And then, yeah. Sweet. Sweet. Yeah, it's the same like Dracula effect. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. If you guys did stick around to the very end, definitely feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. I have a cat on screen. That's kind of what we're looking over to that way. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all of the love and support recently. If you guys did not also check out the most recent collab we did with Res Snapper when we're ranking the new cards that have come out this year, definitely feel free to check that out. But until next time, it's been real. God bless, and Tucker out.